Okay, after the test. The last thing we did, well, generally people in our gyms, they come and they watch the test before they ever take one so they know what's coming. But it used to be that that was a surprise. You put on boxing gloves, body only, hands only. And it's just amazing that they spent 3 months doing these beautiful punches and blocks, and as soon as that happens, they're just flailing away like they don't know a damn thing. You talk about that, get them to do it correctly, and what I say to members at my gym when they're done with the test is pretty much what's about to come. And then I'll give you guys insights onto how we're testing, why we did the things we did. Hey everybody, there's nobody that passed everything. If it's got a circle, that means you failed it. And yes, we're not politically correct, you failed it. The only criteria is would that have worked on the street? Would that have worked on the street? If it didn't look like it would have worked on the street under someone his size attacking you, you got a circle. We're not blowing smoke or buffaloing anybody. Everybody failed a few things. A few of you failed as many as 8 or 9 or 10 things. You don't have to test over. This clipboard will be in the front. When you come in for your next class, ask the instructor, hey, can I get that checked off? As soon as they check them all off, you can go to level 2. A lot of this stuff was you were just too tired. Okay? Almost everyone failed the ground stuff. If we were fresh, we could move all day long and spin around. Where it came in the test, you were so tired you were not getting around faster than somebody could run around you, so it was a failure. So that's one of the things, the very next time you're in the doors, show the instructor and he checks it off. So don't fret these things. Towards the end, your choke defense may have been beautiful, but if your combatives were like this, I gotta fail that. That would not have kept you safe. Those combatives wouldn't have broke a potato chip. When I circle something, I try to put notes in the side. I didn't do a good job with this group, but I put notes in the side about what was wrong with it, what you needed to do. You know, here's the thing, ladies, your scores are lower than the guys. They always are. Don't fret that. Don't be mad at me. I cannot judge you on, oh, that was pretty good for a girl. I judge everyone on the same criteria. That same criteria is how would it have worked against him, against someone that size. Your grades are always going to be lower than the guys. Don't worry about it. As long as you got a 70 or above, that meant I thought it would work on the street. You should be proud of that. Be proud of it. Again, some of the things are just power. The thing that'll irk you is if you were standing close to him and you saw he kind of did something sloppy and got an 80, and you did it technically perfect and got a 75. What the heck? Again, I'm grading it totally on how it would have worked against someone his size. So if he's already his size, he can not be quite as sharp and still get a higher grade because he would have destroyed that dude. You've got to do it technically perfect just to have a chance against the dude, so your scores are lower. Again, no fretting that. Truly, a few of these things are technique things. You just need to work that technique maybe another week and then show it and get it clicked off. Most of them are exhaustion things. You just need the next time you're in here to show us. I am a notoriously hard grader. Pretty much really in real life, add 10 points to whatever I got you. There's a lot of 70s. That means it was on the verge of failing. I'll pass it. 75 and above is pretty good. I mean, it doesn't sound real good, but for me, that's pretty good. No one got anything over an 83. That 83 is like anybody else's 98, so don't fret it. My thought is if it's 74 and down, you know, work that thing. It wasn't looking great. 75 to 80 is looking pretty darn good. 80 and above is truly like anybody else's 90. If you got anything that has an 80, and there's a few from you and a few from Alex, maybe even one from you. If you got an 80, you can think, yeah, I'm darn good with that one. Don't let the scores fret you. I don't want you coming up crying about them. I don't want to hear about why did he get a higher score than me? Because the one I looked at from you sucked. Your other 10 may have been beautiful, but I got to grade what I see. Proud of you. I'm going to pass this around. You need to write down things you need to repeat. And again, the next time you're in here, you'll probably get most of them checked off. If it's a technique problem, we got the DVDs, we got the manuals, fix those things. Okay, for this group, Mandy's going to have this. Just let him check those things off. When they're all checked off, I send your certificates. Okay, now, as affiliates, I was a prick, wasn't I? It is time to be a prick. My only job is to freaking yell and be a maniac, and you're not going hard enough. I'm adding stress. I'm adding stress. There are not many people, and I tell this actually to the group when they're done testing, there are not many people who would put themselves through that. There are not many people who could do that. I'm proud of this group. And it's amazing. You'll get members shaking your hand, thanking you that you just whooped their ass. Thank you. It's truly a lot of people, it's the biggest accomplishment of their life. I was a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. None of my black belt tests were nearly as intense as my level 1 Krav Maga test. It's an eye-opener. The reason we're doing that, you're tough people. You spend 3 months in a martial art and quit, you're still a beginner, you're not very good. You spend 3 months, test and move on, like you moved, you had to quit. let's just say you had moved, you had to quit, because nobody's going to quit, we love this. But anyhow, you're tough people. You know you can keep going. You know you can keep whooping someone's butt that's trying to hurt you or your family. We are making tough people. We are making tough people. Anyone that tests is a badass. Anyone that's tested from 1 to level 2 is a badass. Testing from 2 to 3, you're a super badass. Your next test for level 2 is about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Level 3 is 3 hours, 15 minutes. Level 4, by the time you're a black belt, you are doing what you just did at that intensity for 6 hours. There aren't many people that can do that. There truly aren't. Again, we're just making tough people. And you saw, I was a prick. I was griping. I know it hurts, trust me. I know you can't even breathe and I'm screaming at you, you better get going or you're doing burpees. We are pushing people almost to the edge, real close to the edge. And again, I've seen people snap in higher belt tests. At my black belt test, the dude was attacking the instructors, attacking the scorers. He was just swinging. We had the dog pile. If people have been through that, when that kind of intensity and violence and fear and terrifying crap hits them on the street, it's not new. They've been there. They know they're not stopping. They know what to do. Their training will kick in and they will just freaking go berserk. They'll remember this test. Nobody quit. Nobody stopped. Nobody balled up and wished it away. We kept going. We are making tough people. And I tell, especially my higher belt tests, they're hell. They are much worse than what you just did. And I always look at the audience and say, who would put themselves through that? And they're always like, yeah. And then I say, here's another question though. Who would mess with these people? Yeah. You are tough people. And the coolest thing a couple things when I screw over, you guys have only been doing crime for what, 3 or 4 days? And you got as high scores or higher scores than members would at my gym who had been in it for 3 months. So yes, you were talented. We burst through this in a hurry and you got it down good. The thing that proves to me how cool Krav is what do we save for the end? The chokes and the headlocks and all that stuff. And yet after that hell and after being that tired, they still worked. They still looked like they'd be effective on the street. That to me is just the crowning achievement of Krav Maga. You could hardly stand, but the stuff was still effective. Okay, now some members like I said before, you're going to flunk towards the end because they just had, the technique was okay, they just didn't have anything on their combatives. Oh well, the next time they're in, they'll finish that. But just the fact that those things even look like they would work after that kind of a workout, after that kind of a beating, that is the stress, the exhaustion, oh my God, I'm being attacked, I'm scared to death, and yet, no matter how tired I am, no matter how many of them there are, we're going. After you're such a prick, you got to build people up after the test. You shake their hands, you hug them. Especially the females, they're generally crying at the end of that thing, if it was a surprise to them. I shouldn't say all of them. I've had females cry, but I've had guys cry at the end. We won't even talk about that. But afterwards, I'm sorry I'm being such a dick. I'm being a dick for you. But be mean in the test. Not so much in level 1, but my higher level test, when people cramp up, or even when they're injured, I just freaking walk by and I don't give a crap. If it was a class, I'd be stopped and, oh my God, are you okay? But again, we are building tough people. The more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in the battle. We are just pricks. Okay? My poor black belt, when you get to the black belt test, level 5 test, you're going to cramp. You're just so dehydrated. And I know what a cramp feels like. It hurts like hell. But I just walk by and say, either get up and finish the test or frickin' quit, one of the two. I'm not really that mean. I'm a nice guy. I want to just, comfort them. Oh, you okay? Let's rub that out. But it's a test. We are making tough people. And you can see, y'all are tough. Y'all can hardly stand right now and you hate me, but you're tough people. You're badasses. I couldn't be happier. Questions on any of the flow of that, how we ran it. Basically, you keep eyeballing the clock. Sometimes I'm going way too fast and I got to slow down and start doing things longer. And then there's other times, man, I went long and I got to slow this down. You can only score about 10 people, 5 groups. If you have more than that, have a second scorer. Because here's the problem. I've done tests as many as probably 30. If I would have graded all 30, they would have been doing one technique for frickin' ever. It would have been a 2.5-hour test. Which, whatever, it's not the end of the world. But pretty much 10's about as many as I'll grade by myself. 5 partners, and I'll let a second grader in there if it's a second grader. Another person to grade. I don't want little kids in there, second graders can. We are finished with the test. Questions on this test, how we ran it, what we're looking for, why I did something I did, why I said something I did. Was it different than anything you've ever done in martial arts? Is that a pretty intense test? That's what we're looking for. We want people to say, are you kidding me? And the coolest thing is all your members will get through this. Even your scared women that didn't even want to take it, and after 3 months they might not be ready to test, but after 6, they'll have their friends tested and they'll want to go, okay, I'm ready to test, and it is just such an accomplishment for them. It is the biggest accomplishment of people's lives. Sometimes they'll flat out tell you that. They didn't know they were that tough. They love you for proving to themselves that they are that tough. Too tired to think of that question? Proud of you. This was cool.
Thank you.
Let me stop the recording and then you can gripe at me. That was a good show. Good show.